Hey everybody, this is Kirsten here. Thank you so much for joining me on this brand new episode of the Balanced Vibes podcast. So today I thought I'm going to do a little bit kind of more lighthearted, easier, fun episode, not as strategic as they maybe typically are. And I'm going to share with you some things about my most recent vacation and give you like a little life update of what happened there. And I'm going to talk about four categories. I mean, I usually talk about health and fitness and food and all that anyways. So this is basically what I'm going to cover today in the context of my vacation. So we're going to talk about the training or movement that I did or didn't do so much on this vacation. Then we're going to talk about eating and then stress management. And I know you might be thinking vacation and stress, what are you talking about? These two don't go together, but this time I had a fair amount of stress. I'm not going to get into details, but there's a lot to deal with. And finally, we're going to talk about the scale. What happened as a result of me doing the things that I did or didn't do on this vacation, and what happened when I got back and got on the scale, and yeah, how all that went down. So first, where did it go? Why did I go there? So I went to Hawaii. I have my in-laws in Hawaii. So Huey is from Hawaii, from Oahu. So yeah, I know I'm lucky, definitely very blessed to have a family there. And we used to visit every year, since 2014, basically, we've been there every year with the exception of 2020 until now, because of the obvious reasons that everybody knows about. And now the travel restrictions had gotten a lot looser. And so we're like, cool, we can go again. So it was fun. And we spent there a couple of weeks. And the first half we spent with my in laws. And then the second half we spent in town in Honolulu in a hotel to just be, closer to the beach because my in-laws don't live very close to the beach and they're kind of a little bit more outside of the, the stuff that we wanted to do. So this is what we did. And so let's talk about the four things then that I mentioned: the training, the eating, the stress, and the scale. Okay, so first of all, let's talk about training and how things changed, how things were really different for me this time compared to all the other times that I have been on a vacation, especially in Hawaii. So going back in time a little bit, when I first started going there, when Hugh and I met, which was like 2013, 2014, from 2014 to 2016, every time I went there, my workouts were like, I was really obsessed with them. I just had to do them. I had to do a million of them. They had to be as intense as possible. I was always like, go, 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 go. I don't know how many times I said that right now, but a lot of intense workouts. My days were like, started with a run, then there was a HIIT workout, and then there was a hike or stand-up paddleboarding, maybe another hike. It was just crazy. Sometimes we would just play basketball with friends at the end of the day. And I gotta say, of course, I enjoyed a lot of it. I have always enjoyed movement, but I can see now how I definitely overdid it. And so let's say like 2019, when we last went there before this longer break, things were a lot different because by then I had already learned that it's not necessary to do so much. I had just been previously like exhausting myself too much. I had all this mentality that more is better, which is what I'm talking about now all the time. More is not better. But I was still, working out every time when I went there, doing at least a little bit of something. Now, this vacation 2022, completely different because I got to tell you, I did one workout on this vacation. And this is not because when I go on a vacation, I am taking a break from everything. I'm not going to move. I'm just going to lay on the beach and do nothing. This is not honestly my style of vacation. I get bored like this. I can have days like this, but typically I want to move. Like I exercise by now. I've been working out for so many years. It's just something that I enjoy and I don't have to force myself. I have to push myself. So working out on a vacation comes naturally for me. And had things been, usual, and had I not had the unexpected stress that I did have, I would have done that. I would have probably worked out maybe, during these 2 weeks, at least six, 7 days, maybe total. I would have done it maybe like every other day. But this time I did not because things didn't go super well. Like I said, there were some unexpected stressors which were so noticeable that honestly I just physically felt really drained. And this is where, if you have been listening for my older episodes, I have talked about the connection between the mind and body a lot. Definitely in my case, it is a thing that when I have a lot of like mental, emotional stress, then my body just gets really exhausted. And even if I wanted to, I could not have worked out. I know it sounds kind of like dramatic, and I'm fine, no need to worry about it. But the first half of the vacation, there was, stuff going on, and I just could not. And I kid you not, like my body was aching, it was hurting. And the only thing that I did during this time was that I just walked. And walking by now has become such a habit for me. So, for example, I walk to the coffee shop when Hugh and I would go out to work, because we both work from where we want to. And so every time we go on a vacation, it's almost like a workation, because we always do some work as well. So we have our favorite Starbucks. We go there every time. And then he drives there. And I'm like, wait a minute, it's a 15-minute walk. Why would I not walk? And so I typically walk there. And sometimes I also walk back. Sometimes I get in a car with him and drive back, but I always walk there. And so there's some other ways also, of course, how I walked, sometimes go to the grocery store. I really like to walk around Waikiki. If you have been to Honolulu, you know that area. It's like a busy business area where locals don't want to go. Like he was like, oh, I'm not going to go to Waikiki. If you want to go, go. This is just something that I want to do at least a couple of times when I'm there. I just want to walk around, people watch, walk through the beach, like just walk around like that. So I did walk quite a bit on this trip. And definitely there were days where my steps were like 15,000, and one day it was even like 23,000. So yes, definitely high steps, but most days they were, between 12,000, I would say, which is pretty typical, which is what I do at home anyway, all the time. So walking was all I did. And there are a couple of other things. Now, I told you that the second half of the vacation where things kind of started to get a little bit better, and we got those couple of things sorted out. Then we went to the beach a little bit more, and I did a little bit of boogie boarding, which is it's interesting, it's fun, it's really hard, because for me, I never grew up near the ocean. I grew up close to tons of lakes, and boogie boarding obviously was not a thing that I did growing up. So now it's fun, it's super challenging. If you ever go to Sandy Beach in Hawaii, Oahu, you know that the waves are crazy, especially for somebody who is not from there or is technically a tourist. Then these waves are pretty hard. And then, trying to get on the boogie board and try to keep your balance and not get hit by the waves too much. It was a lot of fun, but it was physically really hard. And of course, later when I checked my Oura ring, it said that I had done like a really intense workout. So this was one workout that I did, like quote unquote workout, which actually really wasn't, because it was like fun. It was just like movement, having a good time. So, but I guess could be a workout. And then the second thing that I did towards the end of our vacation was that I went on a 40-minute run. So this is sort of like a tradition that I do every time. When I am there, I just like to run my one route that I like to do there. And this was literally just once. And then that was pretty much all my activity. And like I said, I felt really strongly that I am not ready to work out. I just can't. My body is like sore, it's aching, even though I haven't done any workouts. It was for other reasons. It really is like a mind-body connection. So if you ever feel this way, nothing wrong with you. It's totally fine. Just keep your workout and give yourself some rest if you need it. So definitely moved less than I typically do. And also, it's funny now that I got back and I've been to the gym 4 times since then. And I have only been working out with the TRX, which is generally a little bit easier workout. And I am very sore in my core. So this is because I had this 2-week break, and that's totally fine. So this is the movement part. So like I said, mostly walking, 1 running, 1 boogie boarding, and that was pretty much it. Of course, we got in the ocean, just swam a little bit, but this is not a competitive swimming or swimming laps. It's just like floating and just having fun and just catching waves, whatever, right? So this was the movement part. Now moving on to eating. How did I eat on this vacation, and how did it all go? So I don't ever track. I wouldn't say maybe ever track, but I typically don't track when I am on a vacation, especially when I don't have a specific goal. So right now, even at home, even though I am a macro coach, by the way, it doesn't mean that if you're a macro coach, you're always tracking your food and always tracking macros. No, you don't. So at home, even right now, I am just eating intuitively. I have so much experience with tracking. I know how to keep my protein high and all that. So I didn't track on my vacation either, but I just tried to make as good choices as I was able to make. Of course, some times were harder. Isn't it always harder on a vacation? So for example, my in-laws are very much mostly plant-based. So there's not a lot of protein in their house. So of course, I eat the vegetables and the good stuff, but I also go shopping, right? So I go get myself some Greek yogurt. I got myself some ham. I got myself some peanut butter, which is, by the way, not a high protein food, but because I just freaking love peanut butter. And I also got myself, what else I got? Some other protein. Oh, I had some protein bars with me. And also I put some collagen in my tea, or if I had like an occasional decaf in the morning. So I did that. I put collagen in there. So I did what I could to get the protein in. And I wasn't like super picky about things like when things didn't go my way. So this is the other thing that I was like really different in the past. When things didn't go my way, when I didn't get the high protein, and when I didn't get like certain foods, I would get like really pissed and annoyed with it, like, oh my god, how dare they not have, like this, really looking back kind of embarrassing, but it is what it is. So this time, instead of just being weird about it, I just went and got some of the things that I wanted to get. And when I didn't have access to all the things I liked, I just rolled with it. Okay, do what you gotta do. So okay, so I bought some of my own things, and of course there was a lot of eating out. We met up with a lot of friends. We went out with the family quite a bit, and eating out, of course, is not super ideal in my opinion. I like to make most of my meals at home. I do, of course, enjoy like a good meal like once a week typically, but on this trip we ate out a lot more. And one thing that I always do when I eat out is that I take a vitamin E pill, because that will help you to deal with those fat oils, let's call them like not so healthy oils, better, and then reduce the inflammatory response. So I always had my vitamin E. And then, of course, I tried to make the best decisions that I could. Have some protein, at least some protein with my meals. And if it wasn't perfect, then it just wasn't perfect. Some of the meals that we ate out or ate with friends were totally cool. For example, I'm very much like a meats and vegetables type of eater. It's very simple. I like it. It's so easy for me. I don't have to think about it much. And some of the meals were like that. One of our friends just cooked up really delicious steaks for us. This is great. So it was literally just like steak and vegetables, and it was so good. But then also there's a lot of Japanese food, for example, and Hawaiian food, which aren't always super high in protein and can be very high in carbohydrates, or Hawaiian food can be very high in fat. So I just rolled with it and tried to think, okay, what can I have that kind of meets my goals? Can I have a little bit of more protein, and always trying to eat that protein first? Also having some desserts, definitely had more desserts than usual, and not like going crazy. I'm not definitely saying that vacation should be when you just throw everything that you know about nutrition out the window and just like binge on desserts. But I definitely had it more often than I have it at home. There's some really good ice cream or some of the things that you only get there. So I just had it, and I just ate these things. And alcohol, what about alcohol? So I have anyways cut back a ton compared to, let's say, 3 years ago or so. So I think during these 2 weeks, I had alcohol maybe 4 times. So 4 glasses of wine or something like that. And I always take my Z-Biotic with it. So if you don't know what Z-Biotic is, it is non-sponsored, but this is a probiotic drink that when you take it before drinking, you will not have the negative side effects of drinking alcohol. So I really like it. I use it every time, even if I have a single glass of wine, I always have it. So I can put the link in the show notes too. So if you want to grab yourself a little something like that, then then use that link. And I promise you, it really works. I've never used anything like this before. And I have gotten kind of pretty sensitive over the years. I'm definitely not that cool college student anymore that was able to drink like it's nothing. So I think things are a little bit different now. So I find the Z-Biotic really helpful. Now, I already mentioned vitamin E, but what about some other supplements? So I was actually really good with my supplements. I don't take a ton of supplements anyway, but I do take some of the things that Sarah Garverick prescribed for me. So if you listen to the podcast with her, then you know she's awesome. She knows her stuff. So she has recommended me mineral drops, which I took all the time. It's not hard at all. You just need like 40 drops per day, and it's easy to put in my water bowl. Also, I took some digestive enzymes, also really easy. It's like nothing, just take it when you eat. And then I took also my liver pills because I eat liver every single day when I am at home. Obviously, when I'm traveling, I cannot make my liver pate or bring it with me. So I took liver pills. And also one thing that I do is that I take a shot of apple cider vinegar before my meals to help with stomach acid production. So this was a little bit more inconsistent, the last one, because ideally you take it 20 minutes before you eat, but it wasn't always possible. Some like unexpected things came up, and I did what I could. So I always took it before breakfast, but then other meals, sometimes I did and sometimes I didn't. Maybe 50% of the time I did and 50% of the time I didn't. So this was the eating. And of course, always like I ate until I felt full, until I felt satisfied, satiated. Not like, like a lot of people have this like big contrast between their regular everyday eating and then vacation eating. Vacation eating is kind of like eating so much that I have to unbutton my pants. This is something that I don't do because I've learned moderation, and this is what I use. I didn't track, like I said. I just ate until I was full and feeling comfortable, and this is when I stopped. But definitely a little bit more desserts, definitely a little bit more alcohol, not a whole lot. And then definitely, I think, less protein than what I usually eat because I just did not have access to all of it all the time. Okay, so let's talk a little bit of stress management too. So like I mentioned, there were some things going on. So what did I do to manage that? And this is something that you don't have to only do on a vacation. So you can do it at home too. Like I said, didn't push myself to do stuff when I didn't feel like it. And when I say stuff, I mean workouts. I just gave myself time. I was like, my body's sore, my body's achy, my mind is a little bit crazy right now. I'm just going to rest and chill. And there were days when I just stayed in a hotel room and slept in the middle of the day. There were days when I used what are called NSMs. So I am right now in a program where we are learning about nervous system modifiers, which are simple things that you can do, like certain points on your body that you can put your hands on, and then do certain movements that help your nervous system to come back to balance. So if you're watching this on YouTube, maybe you can see like one of the things, you can put your hands on your eyes gently. You can gently kind of move your hands like over your eyebrows. You can do some small circles on your cheekbones, things like that. So these things help to bring your nervous system back to balance. So I used some NSMs, I did some meditations, and I did something like this every single day, because I have found that if I keep going on and on and on and on, then at one point I'm going to hit a really bad breaking point, and I didn't want to. So I did what I could. I took a lot of naps, and I just laid in bed if I needed to. I was not stressing over the fact that it's nice outside, it's sunny outside, you got to get to the beach, and even more so, you got to get a workout done. No, if I needed a break, then I took a break, and this is how it got better eventually. So now that I came home, when was that? A little over a week ago, I was wondering what happened to my scale, or my body weight, because I moved a lot less. I ate probably more because even though I said I finished eating when I was full, still you eat out a lot. There's calorie dense foods, there are more desserts, there's more alcohol. So I was wondering what happened to my scale, and let's check it out. So I got on a scale maybe the second day after coming back, and it had not gone up at all. It actually had gone down a couple of pounds. And I don't even weigh myself necessarily all the time at all. So I think the last time I weighed myself was maybe a few days before going on a vacation. And then now I came back 2 days or a day after vacation, it had gone down a couple of pounds. So I know that in the past, it would not have been this way. When I say in the past, I say during the times when I was really addicted to running and controlling my calories and really controlling the movement, and I approached working out always with the mindset of how much can I burn? How much can I sweat? And I've talked about it on this podcast a ton. So I'm sure you can find a million episodes where I talk about it. But now I did not have that effect. And my scale had come down a couple of pounds. Why do I think this was possible? Well, I think, and I'm actually very sure that this is the case, that my metabolism is just pretty healthy, pretty flexible. And when you have a healthy, flexible metabolism, then it can just handle life stuff like that. It can handle missing some workouts. It can handle some wine and a piece of cake. It can handle a lot more, because when you are lifting weights consistently and you have relatively high muscle mass, then your body just burns through the energy way better than when you didn't have high muscle mass and high energy expenditure naturally. This is why I always say that if you have a weight loss or fat loss goal, the worst way to go about it is to use a ton of cardio training to get there. Instead, have a little more patience and build up your metabolism with strength training, and also make sure that you are eating enough. Because if you are in this constant hunger mode, starvation mode, and you're keeping yourself on low calories, let's say like 1400 or 1200, and then you have 2 weeks when your calories are maybe a little bit higher and you cannot do all your cardio all the time because you have a lot of stress or whatever reason, then your weight will go up for sure. But if you have built up this metabolism that is strong and flexible and fast, then little bit of difference or things doing different, it doesn't necessarily get reflected on the scale. You don't gain a bunch of weight overnight or even after 2 weeks. And all this is not to say that I encourage taking many weeks off from working out or going months and months without working out just because you didn't feel like it. I think most people should have a fitness routine that has a couple of days of strength training in it. But what I am saying is that if you have a time when you just can't, for some reason, work out, you have high amounts of stress, then there's no point in pushing yourself. You don't have to push yourself. If you need that time off, take that time off then. And you come back home and you're like, oh my God, I'm totally fine. And, I didn't think that my weight will go up a ton, but honestly, I didn't expect it to go down either. So I am actually really happy that I didn't push myself to do stuff when my body wasn't up for it. I'm happy that I have done the things that I've done in the past couple of years, which is really lifted weights and increased my calories and eating enough, because I would not want to be in the position where I was, let's say up until 2016, when I was so dependent on working out a ton, burning a crap ton of calories and eating nothing. I don't want to be in this position anymore. So I want you to see how much freedom and flexibility there really is when you put in the time and work, put in the work and spend some time working on building your metabolism. So overall, I would say it was a great vacation. Everything went well when I'm looking back to it, even though there's some bumps in the road. By the way, also our car got towed, which was an adventure to get it back on the same day when I was flying back. So we're like, are we going to make it? How is that going to go? So that happened. A couple of other things happened, but I also had a really good time, seeing the family was wonderful. Playing in the water, definitely got my magnesium soak in, got a little tan on, it was good times. And being able to work from anywhere basically is something that I'm really, really grateful for. and staying in touch with all my clients, maybe being a little bit less active on social media. This was also needed and also good. So I'm really happy with my vacation, and now definitely feeling a lot better. I have worked on my nervous system and stress reduction. I'm back doing my ice baths, in fact going there in like 10 minutes. And yeah, everything's good. So I hope this episode was interesting for you to listen to. If you have any questions about anything that I talk about here on this podcast, just send them my way. And make sure that you also grab some of my free downloads. So I have one that is your protein guide. Eating enough protein is definitely super helpful for you if you want to build a strong, flexible metabolism and build some muscle mass. So make sure to grab that. And then also I have another free downloadable guide, which is the Lean Ladies Calorie, Protein, and Workout Guide, where you can figure out exactly how many calories you should be eating for your goals and how you should train and how much protein you should have. So these guides are both free, and also make sure to watch the next video. Thank you so much for being here, and I will talk to you again very soon. Bye-bye.